Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. It is me, your favorite highlighter that you lost in 7th grade. So today we're going to talk about something that frankly I didn't really want to talk about because I think this person is trolling and I think this person thrives off negative attention because they're an edgelord, but we'll get into it. But nonetheless, since so many people are messaging me, I just figured let's just talk about this briefly and return to forgetting this person exists. So there is this OG goth creator, online personality, whatever you want to call them. She goes by Adora Bat Brat online, and she's, like I said, a goth subculture type person who stands out because of, you know, like their out there style and appearance. They kind of went viral because for Halloween, I think it was, or if they just did it on a random day, they decided to dress up as a rape victim. So you see, we're not going in a positive direction here. So that's kind of what made people begin messaging me about her, but I found other things that I find somewhat alarming. And whether it's trolling or not, if what you're doing is putting out a toxic message, you know, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day if it's trolling, because for me, trolling has different types of categories. There's trolling that's just like people being silly about silly shit, which frankly, I don't care, do you? But then there's a different type of trolling, kind of like with Nikocado and like his making a joke out of domestic abuse in his videos. Like here, trolling about rape or joking about rape is just not something I support in the least. And I suppose this topic is a degree closer to me because I know multiple people who have gone through that, but even if you don't know anyone who went through it, it doesn't really, like, you can still empathize nonetheless. The reason why I'm also talking about this is I genuinely thought this person was vastly younger than they are, like they look way younger than they are. If the online information is correct, and Sophie, which is Adora Bat Brat's real name, was born in 1972. So like this person is significantly older than I expected. Ideally with age comes maturity, but perhaps not. And I think that's the other thing that was disturbing to me is like, I don't think it'd be okay to do this at 18 either, but at least I could try and give the benefit of the doubt that someone's young and ignorant and they will grow and become more mature, hopefully. But like I said, maturity doesn't really come with age at this point. So let's just get into the content that makes me kind of suspicious. So let's start with the rape costume. So she posted a picture. She has a shirt on saying tonight's rape victim, and she did makeup to look beat up and bloodied. And it said, as I understand it, in America, if you are a pretty girl, a girl who likes to party and who likes being sexy, you have all the responsibilities if you are raped. So dressing up like this and also getting drunk, I give my silent permission to be tonight's rape victim, according to some. I contemplated if my costume was tacky, but then realized reality was. I don't truly even know where to start with this one. And listen, no type of clothing or no clothing equals consent. Only consent equals consent. So if you get drunk and you're wearing a skirt, or if you get drunk and you're dressed like a nun, irrelevant what you're wearing. It's not consent, period. I don't think I really have to say that. I think most of us can agree on that.
To be clear, I understand that maybe what she was trying to say is, according to some, if you dress a certain type of way, they think it means consent, and according to some, it would essentially be rapists. And I understand that that is a possibility of what she meant to say. But regardless of that, if you are trying to be an advocate, if you're trying to be supportive of rape victims, dressing up as one goes against your message because it's essentially making a mockery. So the reason people read your text a certain way is because the image is going in a certain direction, and the text can very easily be interpreted depending on that because of how the wording is put. Also because you're not really denouncing it. You're saying, according to some, that's what they think, and there's no point where you say, I disagree with that. So that's why people are interpreting it in this way, and that's why later she'll claim that that's not what she meant and she had good intentions, so on and so forth. I just wanted to clarify that.
When she started getting called out for this, because the least you can call it is in poor taste, I find it gross to belittle victims like that. I find it gross to even make a joke, considering that so many victims aren't even taken seriously in the first place. But when she got called out for this, everything turned into a question of semantics, essentially. So she posted something kind of trying to explain her costume, and it says, beautiful people of the world equals people with pure hearts and good intentions. The irony of saying that when you were dressed up as a rape. Okay. First off, I did not delete any of the posts on Instagram, and I never had a chance to read even one comment before it got deleted. I put the comments on hold as they were well over 1,400, and I wanted a chance to read them all before I could address them, so I needed to stop the flow. But someone had it removed as my posts after that, before I put my kids to sleep yesterday and had my internet time. I live my life on the real world more than online, especially during their autumn holiday and their Prio 1, so internet just had to wait. My Halloween costume text was posted as a political statement, and I did post it with good intentions, no matter how some people read it. If my post unintentionally hurt you reading this, I'm sorry I hurted you. It was never what I intended, and for that I'm truly sorry. I will also take the opportunity to thank everyone who wrote positive, encouraging, private messages, and who got my intent. I've never felt more loved. This post, aside from not really explaining anything other than saying I had good intentions, sorry if you got hurt, I think just reeks with kind of passive aggressiveness with like, I live my life in the real world. It's like, is this relevant at all to just say you were busy and so you couldn't answer immediately, but to say, oh, I live my life in the real world, not online, I don't know. Seems a little passive aggressive to me. Anyway, then there's more. Beautiful people of the world, please do not reflect your feelings of me on friends of mine and people I've worked with. They are by no means guilty, and I cannot accept a witch hunt on innocent people. This is not okay. Stop attacking innocent people. You are welcome to think whatever you want of me, but I still had good intentions, and that is what matters between me and God. I didn't post it out of hate. You who attack people around me is doing it out of hate. Rethink, stop. So surely she did get some actual hate, but people saying this is inappropriate, this is gross, this is insensitive to actual victims, that's not hate, that's people simply holding you accountable for what you did. And frankly, it's very hard for me to believe that you're gonna post something online like that on such a subject like rape and not expect anyone to have an issue. And that's why I think it's also trolling, because this person is the ultimate edgelord, and we'll get into that after, but it's just this kind of contrarian takes just to be contrarian, not because you even necessarily believe it, but it's just so people talk about you. And I get that I'm doing that, but it's like on something like rape, I'm not gonna accept that. So then there's another older post that says, as I understand it, in UK, if you are an ordinary girl, a girl who likes getting drunk out with friends and who likes looking proper, you have all the responsibilities if you are raped, so dressing up like this, and by also getting drunk, I give you my silent permission to be tonight's rape victim, according to some. Then it's cut off. Her profile's private. This rape victim thing is concerning. Like, I don't understand what the fixation is with her and rape victims, first of all. It's very bizarre to particularly focus on them in this way as opposed to being an actual advocate, for example. But I just don't understand what she's trying to get at here. I kind of wanted to see what her response was to specifically this rape scandal, because like that's really what kicked off and started people talking about her. So she posted a video. This video is like peak edgelord, because at the beginning of the video, I'm not going to put the video here, it's only 1 minute, but I don't want to get copyrighted or something like that. I'll put screenshots. It says like trigger warning a bunch of times. It wasn't like a genuine trigger warning like, hey, I'm going to talk about this if it's a topic that, you know, you can't watch, don't watch it. It was more like a mockery, because like the screen filled up with trigger warnings, as if people saying that you dressing up as a rape victim is triggered as much as like people being like, this isn't it. Please rethink, you know, your stance on this. So she kind of seemed to be going into the triggered snowflake fun original joke. And then in the video, she essentially proceeds to say that if you don't like that post, like not even offended, if you just like don't like that post, it's because you're not smart enough to understand her intentions, and you're not smart enough to understand that in reality what her post was trying to do was to essentially say that some people say that if you're dressed in a certain way when you go out, if you get raped, it's your fault. Because in the post it says, as some think, or something along those lines. But that's not what it translated to. Like, and it's also like, if you're gonna make a statement about something as touchy and sensitive as rape, you probably want to make sure that your intention and the direction of your words is very clear, because it's not really the type of thing that you just pick whatever word. And it's also like, it's hard to believe you had really good intentions of making a political statement by dressing up as a victim. It's the kind of a similar thing as with the movie Cuties. Like we said, you don't have to show children being sexualized in order to talk about it, right? So in this same case, it's like you didn't have to dress up as a rape victim to make a statement. Like you could just post a post with text, you know? So I think she was just going into like semantics and saying, oh, well, if you actually look at my words and if you're a smart human, you'll understand it. Which again is passive aggressive and also patronizing, because it's implying that any kind of dislike towards those posts is a result of stupidity as opposed to like just not thinking that they're appropriate in the least. And this leads me into another thing. There's another clip of her that went kind of viral, which was a video where she was talking about her diet. So I watched the whole video about her diet. Now, I want to say the video isn't directly promoting eating disorders, because in the video she herself says, don't stop eating, don't starve yourself, because it's not good for your body or your brain. So she doesn't say starve yourself.
I have actually seen pictures of me, on inspiration sites and pro-ana sites. Really? It's awful. No. I am not anorexic, and I do not want people to be anorexic. Please understand, I eat something called Montignac method, and it allows me to eat lots and lots of food, but still stay skinny, because I love my brain. And if you stop eating, your brain will go cuckoo.
But it does send very mixed messages, because there was a part in the video where she was saying that she likes looking anorexic but not being anorexic, which in and of itself, as a person who had an eating disorder, it just feels like a very thin line to draw. You're still glamorizing the look and body of someone who's going through severe struggles. Like, people die of anorexia, so to say that you want to have a body that looks anorexic is troubling to me, and I don't think it's sending the right message, because even if you're saying that you're eating, that you follow this specific diet, which we'll get into.
I know, this sounds so stupid, but I love to look anorexic without being it.
And then in the video, she also says that she was on pro-ana forums, which in and of itself is like not something you should particularly be happy about, because it's like your image is being used to have people stop eating. And then also in the video, she says that she thinks she's rather skinny. She put her hand around her arm and she can fit her whole arm with like within her hand just doing this.
Look at me. I am quite skinny, I think. Enough skinny, right? So this is, well, kind of normal me. It's so difficult to see now when I'm wearing pink. It's like, oh, so distracted. Look at this. See my arm here? I can reach all the way around. And if you are anorexic, or if you want to be like super skinny, please take my advice. Do not stop eating. Instead, use your brain and start eating.
Seem to be impressed by that. So again, that doesn't really send the same message as like eat, be healthy, blah, blah, blah. So then she talks about the diet she follows, which is the Montignac diet. I'm not a nutritionist or whatever, but their website gave me a little bit of a weird vibe.
So I originally got a weird vibe because I saw that they were selling this Kindle edition book called Get Spaghetti Thin, which could mean two things. It could be saying like, hey, you don't have to sacrifice eating pasta or carbs necessarily so you can get thin while eating pasta, if that makes sense. But on the other hand, I was like, get spaghetti thin, after the emphasis that we saw with Adora Batbrat about being thin and this is her diet. I was also like, is this diet really focused on being healthy or being thin? But then I also saw something else that kind of contextualizes this. So this is a screenshot from their official website, and as you can see, there's spaghetti Montignac, which I believe is advertising a type of pesto, because at the bottom you can see it says 3 times lower than traditional pesto. So I'm assuming that they're just showing off a recipe of theirs, which contextualizes the book, because like I said, they may be going for the route of like, you don't have to sacrifice everything in order to lose weight, you don't have to have a boring diet, blah blah blah. But if you just saw the cover of the book alone, it would look quite different. So with the context, I don't think that this diet is necessarily just focused on thinness.
That's why I think she's an edgelord. That's why I also thought she was younger, because it's a thing that younger people do. Like, I had my own little contrarian phase when I was younger, where it's just like you get some kind of fun out of just kind of shocking or alarming people with what you're saying, but you don't necessarily believe it and you're saying it for a reaction, which if it weren't putting other people potentially in danger by like under eating or making a mockery out of rape, I probably just wouldn't care. Like if she were trolling about other things that aren't as serious, but because of the nature of the topic, it's just inappropriate to say the least. And the other thing is also like, this is a person who has children. This is a person who's like old enough to know that these things are completely inappropriate. And it just concerns me because like, even if you're trolling, there are some people who won't tell the difference and will internalize these opinions of like rape is funny or like let's dress up as a victim, which is just obviously a toxic mindset in and of itself. Do I really think she believes these things? I frankly hope not. I think it's really just to be edgy and that's it. You guys can let me know in the comments if you really think she thinks this way, or, you know, if she actually did have good intentions, if anyone can believe that. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right